Hey guys, it's Anna. I'm here with Trace.
Hi.
My new web star friend who's for sure going to fail at this whole thing. But thanks for tuning in. We're going to sign, I'm going to sign some books. He's going to talk to me.
Ask a few questions.
Yes.
And read some fan questions. And yeah.
And all that stuff. Tonight we have a signing at Barnes & Noble with me, Hero, and Joe. So those of you that unfortunately couldn't get in, you can get a book signed by me. I know it's not the same, but maybe Trace can pretend to be Hero and sign Hero's name. Just kidding, we won't do that, I swear.
No.
I'm so excited, and this should be fun. So you get to watch us be awkward and
very awkward,
fake we're funny for the next 40 minutes, and we have some questions, so we will, and he'll touch my hair every once in a while. It's fine. Also, I got LASIK eye surgery, so that's why my eye looks like a zombie. I did not get punched in the face. It was LASIK surgery, and it was great. So yeah, we're gonna
let's start with the questions.
Okay.
First question is, how does it feel to be sitting with all of these movie tie-in editions at Simon & Schuster?
Yes, just SNS.
SNS, almost 5 years since the book was first published.
It's amazing. I was literally just telling them this morning because I'm staying at the same place that I stayed at years ago when I came here to meet with publishers and meet with Simon & Schuster. And so it's kind of like a full circle moment for me where I have a movie tie-in and there's this little wall. I don't think you can see it, but not this after wall, but over here where there's other movie tie-ins. And it's just really cool. And we were walking down the hallway and I was remembering when I was like sneaking pictures in the hallway of books and stuff the first time I came here. So it's pretty amazing to now be here with
Full circle.
Mm-hmm. Hero and Joe and Trace.
And me.
And you.
Do you have any favorite memories of when the book was first released?
Yeah, the first one that comes to my mind was Jordan, my husband, and I were literally calling all of these Barnes & Nobles around the country and asking for the book because people were saying they were sold out. So we were like just calling like random small towns in Ohio, my hometown, all these things, and everybody kept being like, the lady finally, I think it was in Cincinnati, literally like yelled at me and was like, "We don't have After anymore." And I was like, oh my God, they sold out that. She's so angry. They must be asking all day. So it was like so cool. I mean, the whole thing's been amazing, but that was like a moment where I was like, wow, people are actually
I've done it.
Buying it, and it's in a store, and it's like in Target. So it was in Target.
You've now traveled the world and done hundreds of events, but can you remember what that first event that you did was like?
Yeah, my first event was a Las Vegas book signing where the book was getting ready to come out and I literally had no people, like no one. There were a couple like bloggers and stuff that were just really nice people that came over and like talked to me because I was just sitting at the table. And then this lady came and said, "Do you know when Anna Todd's coming?" And I was like, I'm her.
Here,
yep,
been here all day.
Been here. If you want a book, just please buy one, please. But it was so fun though because there were so many other authors there that I had looked up to and was a fan of. So especially because I didn't have a line, I kept leaving to go buy other people's books. And so it was cool to be like part of that, but also I didn't have any people, which was fun because then I got to buy a bunch of books and walk around.
And you got to see the people that you wanted to see.
Yes. And that I met Jody Malpass the first time that day. Cried. It's good times. Yes. Literally cried. But she likes me still, so it's okay. Clearly I didn't creep her out that much.
All that you know.
Right.
Readers in the fandom have played a big role in the success of After. What are you most excited for the readers to see?
Just to come to life. Like, I'm just excited for them to see Hero and Joe in costume, on a screen. I mean, they've seen the trailer, but it's just not the same thing as the whole movie. I'm just ready for them to see like what we did together come to screen.
So you were a big part of the film's journey from page to screen. What surprised you the most about the process?
How much work and how many people and how much technical stuff goes into making a movie, because as much as a reader, I'm like, when I see adaptations, sometimes I'm like, well, that thing wasn't there and they didn't do that and that building was supposed to be this. Mm-hmm. But then when I'm actually making my own, I realize like it's so hard is a weird word because it was so fun, but it was challenging to take such a big book and make it into an hour and 45-minute long movie. So that was surprising to me, just the changes and some of the dialogue that in the book is so romantic, and then you see someone say it and you're like, I can't believe I wrote that. Please don't ever say that again. So that was surprising.
You fight so hard for certain things, and certain things you're like, maybe I shouldn't have said that, so we're not going to say that.
Exactly. I'm like, let's pretend that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what was your favorite memory from being on set?
Just spending time with the whole cast, to be honest. Like, we just had such a good family kind of relationship. It was like going to summer camp. I never went to summer camp, so it was fun. And being able to hang out with like Selma Blair and Peter Gallagher and Jennifer Beals, it was like
all these people that you had looked up to.
Yes. And like, Selma Blair, I mean, she's literally, they're all legends, but Selma's like, she was in Cruel Intentions, so there's that like kind of tie-in to there, because clearly if you've read After and seen Cruel Intentions, it was definitely inspired by that, amongst other things, but that was one of the things. So Selma is,
legendary,
straight up legend.
If you could have
we'll start signing.
Yeah,
we're gonna run out of time. We'll just talk the whole time.
If you could have one other job on the film, what would it be?
One other job on the film? Director. For sure.
Control,
complete control.
Can you talk about the picture of you when you first saw Joe and Hero as Hardin and
Yeah, so we were rehearsing the lake scene, and they had kissed the first time in front of me during rehearsal, and I didn't even realize I was crying. I was literally crying and didn't even realize. And Jennifer Gibgot, one of the producers, was like, "Oh my gosh, are you crying?" I was like, "No," and then I'm like, "Holy crap!" I was cussed. Sorry. I was crying, and it was just. There's just something about them that you guys will see when you see the film. There's something that I was just like, all of this work and all of these years of trying to get this movie made and all of the hundreds of auditions and tapes and all this stuff got to that moment, and it was just like so overwhelming that I didn't even realize how overwhelming it was.
Well, what was the most surreal moment you got to watch play out?
Probably the lake scene, just because it's my favorite, one of my favorite things at least, and it just was so beautiful, and it was, I don't know, I can't say anything. I'm like, I'll just tell you guys the whole movie, but it was so like surreal, because I just was like, wow, that came from my mind, and now this whole crew of people. And when I first arrived in Atlanta and I saw the whole setup of everything, the pre-production office, all of the trailers and all these people, and I was like, wow, there's hundreds of people here because of my book. And seeing after productions written everywhere, I was like, whoa, this is crazy in a good way.
Let's answer a few fan questions. Allison from Reno, Nevada, her question is, what character did you have the most fun developing?
Hardin, for sure. He's definitely the most complicated character that I've developed. And he's a lot like me in ways that I think are surprising to some readers. They, I think, assume just because I'm a female, Tessa's a female, I have blonde hair, Tessa has blonde hair, that Tessa is like me, and I'm much more like Hardin than Tessa. And you know, I'm much more like Hardin. So that was the most fun, but also challenging, because sometimes I would look at his behavior and be so like bothered by him, but then I would be like, oh, well, when I was 19 and I was angry at this or that, and so it was a lot of like kind of reflecting on my own childhood and my own family life and like the darker things about Hardin. So yeah.
Chantal from Montreal says, hi Anna, first congratulations for the success of After. I would like to know how long it took you from the first idea you had of the story to the time it was actually published.
It took me, let me think, like I started writing in April 2012, and then the book came out in 2014. So like a year and a half before when I started writing the first book to when the first book was published.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Tony from Wolverhampton, United Kingdom.
You're absolutely never going to be a host of anything ever.
I mean, I'm just not familiar with this. Anyway, Tony says, what was one of the most surprising things you learned in creating your books?
I think the surprising thing I learned, oh, that's a good question. I would say it kind of goes again back to Hardin and like how he deals with his anger and his past. Sometimes he surprised me like in growth ways where he would like realize that he's doing something or behaving a certain way, and then I would be like, yeah, that's not, I don't know, it's like it was almost like going to a therapist. Then so it was like surprising in that way.
Leah from Ohio.
Hey, I'm from Ohio.
She says, hi Anna, I hope you're doing well. My question is, how did you come up with the names Auden and Emery? I've always wondered that.
They're actually the closest thing to like it's supposed to be Jane Austen and Emily Bronte, so I did Emery for Emily Bronte and then Auden for Jane Austen, which makes so much sense for Hardin and Tessa. And I just had this like, they kind of just popped in my head, and I was like, whoa, why aren't those actual like popular names? Because I'm like, now I can't use them because I put them in a book, but I love those names.
Name
like,
all your children names of characters.
Not creepy at all. It's
no.
fine.
Mm-mm. Crystal from Boston asked, what was the funniest blooper during filming, if any?
Oh, there were so many. Oh my god. I can't really say the actual funniest one, but there were just so many times where we would still be rolling and the like talent didn't know we were rolling, so they would just have like funny conversations, or like I would be like shouting something in the background like, Anana, move your hair or whatever. And like there were times where like with Joe and Shane especially, they have such a like amazing friendship, and they would just like crack each other up. There were lots of like funny things, but I'm like, I feel like I can't say half of them.
Nancy from Rio Grande City, Texas. What advice would you give to someone who'd like to write a book? Was the process of getting your book published difficult? I love you so much.
Oh, love you. I would say my first advice is to just write. That's literally the only thing it takes to be a writer. And I think I wish I would have thought about that the first couple years of my career, because I kept beating myself up the whole time, and I would always say, I'm not a writer, I'm not a real writer, I got published because I wrote online, whatever. And then I'm like, now, 5 years later, I'm like, actually I wrote 1 million words, half of it on a cell phone while raising a special needs child and a husband in the army. So it took me a long time to like own my power. But I would say just write. If you feel like you should be writing, then you should be writing. I can't lie and say that my experience in publishing was really hard, to be honest, because I had the advantage of Wattpad, because I had so many reads that, of course, publishing houses were eager to have it because of that. So I feel like my answer is a little biased, but if you really want to be published, there's so many ways. You don't have to have a big publisher. You don't have to know every grammatical thing. I can't put a comma in the right place to save my life. Nothing to kill. I can't. No commas or like.
Well, I think just like anything, everyone's route is different.
Yeah, so everything is different, but I'm telling you, please write, like for yourself, for me, and worry about the publishing part after you write the story. But there's always a way to publish. Even self-publishing, there's 1 million routes.
Elena from Grain Valley, Missouri. If Hardin and Tessa were to get married, who would have been Tessa's maid of honor?
What a question.
Now I looked over here and I was like, oh God, did I read something wrong?
No, I just was like, holy crap, that's a good, I'm like, I don't even know if I could say that. I guess I can, because no one knows that yeah, well, I'll just answer. Now I did anyway. But it would definitely, well, the thing is that's weird is that Hardin and her have to kind of share Landon. So Nora would probably be her maid of honor, but I don't want to talk any more about the wedding because spoilers and stuff. And yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Move on. Alexia from France. How does it feel to see your book edited in so many languages and now your film?
Really great, to be honest. I remember when I first traveled on my first international signing right when the book was released, and I went to France and Spain, and I just was I thought I was going to show up in like a little bookstore and nobody was going to be there, and it would be like Vegas. And then there was this huge, and everywhere I went, huge lines. There were hundreds of people, and I was just like, I can't believe I'm in Spain and France and these places that I had never been able to travel before. Yeah. And then these people know me and they read my books and seeing all the different covers and everything. It's amazing.
Arlene from Montebello, California. talked about this a little bit, but do you ever insert yourself into your characters when you write them?
Definitely. I do it sometimes without even knowing it.
I know my character.
I know. Well, you're probably in there. Honestly, a lot of the people are like influenced by people around me, and I, especially in after, like there's a couple people that, like the girl who inspired Molly, she absolutely has read it, and I am absolutely positive she has no idea that she's literally Molly. And I have some friends who from my hometown who I haven't talked to in a while or something, and they'll say like, "Oh, I read after," and my closest friend said, "You're so much like Tessa," and I was like, "You don't know me at all." And then when she got in that other book, she's like, "Actually, no,
never mind."
But it's the little things about Tessa. With Tessa, it's like I love Tom's shoes, and I have blonde hair, and I hate ketchup. She hates ketchup. I love classic novels, but it's like character-wise, we're very different people. So yeah, but every character pretty much has some of me in them.
Antonio from Topeka, Kansas. What is one of your biggest inspirations when you sit down to write?
Music is usually like the most inspiring thing for me. I listen to really sad songs. Like even if the scene's not sad, I still like have to listen to really like devastating music to write. So if anyone has any devastating song recommendations, comment here because I need them, or spam me on Twitter, wherever, because I'm out of music at the moment, to be honest.
You're not sad about it anymore.
I'm
You're
not.
like, oh, heard that one.
I need to be sadder, so please recommend me some sad songs.
Alexandra from Miami, Florida. Of all the characters in your book, which is your favorite?
Hardin and Tessa both. Well, it's like a close second. I always say Hardin, but it feels unfair to Tessa. But Hardin is my favorite character. But Kale, who is in another series of mine called The Brightest Stars, is coming very close to Hardin lately. But Hardin's kind of like that first child thing where you're like, no one says you love the first child more, but you kind of do.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, I'm the second child, so that's good to know.
I'm the first, that's why I was saying that. I'm like, my sister's probably watching this like, no, you're not.
No, you're not.
No, you're not.
No, you're not. Anna from Sealy, Texas. Was there ever a time you had writer's block?
Yeah. The thing with After, I didn't have any writer's block, to be honest. I just was like writing it so fast and putting it to the world that I didn't have time to have writer's block. But once it was out and with The Brightest Stars in the beginning, I felt so like constrained, I guess I would say. Like I put so much pressure and was overthinking every single thing.
I was about to throw you under the bus and be like, I've been at your house and you're like, I don't know.
Yes, I'm like, I can't. I don't know where to go. And it's, with The Brightest Stars especially, it's a more like difficult theme. Hardin and Tessa, there's a lot of like dark themes and addiction and things like that, but The Brightest Stars is more of a personal thing where it's a relationship between a white woman in Georgia and an African-American soldier with severe PTSD, and this kind of circle of these young and older men who have been to war and how it affects them and their wives. And it's just a lot because it's a lot of stuff that I don't think I dealt with while my husband was in the Army. By the way, my husband was in the Army, if you don't know me, if you're just watching this, and went to Iraq 3 times and is also an African-American. So it was more challenging mentally. Like I kept overthinking everything where I'm like, why can't I just, and for the second book, it felt like vomit almost in the best way because I felt like I stopped limiting everything I thought. And I also I don't want to misrepresent ever. And I'm very much aware of that. In the second book, it goes back and forth between Kale and Karina. Mm-hmm. So there is I don't even know how to say it. It's like, I want to, if I'm writing from an African-American male's point of view, I can write, soldier, I can write vampire, I can write a werewolf, whatever, but I don't want to be irresponsible with the representation. So I took a lot of time considering that. In the beginning, it was a little limiting, but then once I realized the correct way to find out these things by asking people who are people of color and have been in these situations, it made it a lot easier. But the writer's block for The Brightest Stars was like intense. You were there. Like everybody in this room was there. It was a war itself.
It was a tough one.
Yeah, it was.
Anastasia from Sweden. As the creator of the book and the whole story, do you think the film will meet the expectations of the public?
No. No, I think it will. I think even though there's always...
It's a lot of pressure.
I know. And it's like if I tried to make everyone love it just as much as the book, it's just like... I'm a person who I love adaptations. I love books to movie, but I also every single time, no matter how great the movie is, even Harry Potter, I'm like, well, they should have done this, and this was missing.
Well, and now going through it, and you've seen how the process of the film making works, you're like, now I understand why it can't be exactly, or why this can't.
Exactly. So, yeah.
Well, Zemin from Lincoln, Nebraska, how do you feel about the changes in the movie?
I honestly love them. I'm excited. There were some things that just work in a book that don't work on screen, but we had most of the changes are, well, all of them are stamped approved by me except the tattoos. But those were also picked by me, but that was a change that was just a technical problem, really, not like on purpose. But I honestly love the changes. I think we made a very modern version of After, and I'm really proud of it, to be honest.
Also, if you just tuned in, signed copies are available at premiercollectibles.com/after.
Yep. Should have said that like 3 times already. I'd never mentioned it.
premiercollectibles.com/after. All right, Ashley from Fayetteville, North Carolina. What was your favorite Hessa moment?
Oh my word. That's a hard. Probably the spoiler alert. If you haven't read it, pause or mute or something. Probably the birth of their children, just because they had gone through so much to finally like have a normal life, and they finally got, even though they didn't get, a big happy ending with a bow on it, they got the like Hessa version of a happy ending.
Yeah. Aina from Northern Marina Islands. Sorry if I mispronounced that. How were you able to come up with each character in their own special place in Tessa's story?
Honestly, the supporting characters are usually, I never really think them out, to be honest. They're more of like, Steph, for example, is how does she play a role in Tessa and Hardin's life? How does Landon affect Tessa? So it's mostly centered around the 2 leads of the book, and then, or well, I'm using like movie terms, but 2 main characters, and then everyone else just kind of has a reason to be in their life. But with After, and now with The Brightest Stars, the secondary characters are becoming so big. They're almost like characters of their own, which is why with Landon, he has 2 of his own books. Because once I get in a world, it's like, I clearly like to write a lot. And the books are long. Going. Yes, just keep it going.
Well, keep it going with...
That was a good one.
Thank you. Working on it. Baruni, Newberry, Florida. Are you making a 4th book that you'd like to ramble on?
Well, there technically is a 4th book. It's not on Wattpad, but it's called After Ever Happy. And it is like the 4th one. And then there's Before, which is the 5th. But I don't know if I'll write I can't say no, but I also can't say yes on a live thing because I'll get in trouble.
Veronica from Edwardsville, Illinois. What made you decide to shoot the movie in Atlanta over Washington, where the book was originally, or where it originally takes place?
Atlanta is a really amazing place for film right now. A lot of studios are filming there, and it just felt, one, it was a change. It doesn't technically say that it's in Atlanta in the movie, but it just was a kind of a cool change for me, because as much as I was clearly inspired and loved Twilight and 50 Shades, but it was like all of the kind of movies that have been in theater are all in the same city. Everything I love happens to be like this. It's really weird. Like, even 10 Things I Hate About You. The other day I was like, everything I love is in Seattle.
Yeah. Well, people don't realize that more than half the times the location of the movie is not where it's filmed.
Yeah. And Atlanta also is like one of my favorite cities ever, and I loved it there. So I was actually really happy. I love Washington too, but we had a really good time in Atlanta. Except for the heat. The heat was intense. Ooh. Oh my goodness. And the lake, and it kept storming. It was like, I'm not even going to brush my hair today because there's no point.
Brenda from San Francisco, California. How did you feel the last day of filming?
Surreal, emotional. We had this, two things. We had the last day was like my cameo day, so that was fun. And the last night shoot we had the whole aquarium, the Georgia Aquarium, to ourselves. The whole thing was rented out, and we were filming like everybody's seen the aquarium shots in the trailer, but we were filming there and we had the whole thing, and it was night, and we were like, when they yelled it's a wrap, we were just all like, whoa, we're done? Like, what?
And what a great place to be when
yes,
it's a wrap.
and we
It's
had the
like,
whole aquarium to ourselves, and the fish. It was so cool and beautiful, and like Dylan and some people who had already wrapped picture for them, they came back for it, so it was like that night was magical.
Ada from Stuttgart.
Oh, I went there.
I know, it was a foreign exchange student there.
Were you?
Uh-huh. Don't
I
ask.
didn't know that. I want to know this after.
Did you have such people in your life like Molly, Steph, or Zed?
Oh, yeah. I had some Mollies. I had Steph, yes, too, actually. I feel like a lot of my kind of friends who now is a woman, my friends that I like really spent so much time trying to impress and trying to make them like me and fit in with them. I wasted so much time hang out with them as opposed to people now. When I look at like Facebook, I'm like, I would have been way closer with this group of people if I wasn't so worried about being cool or whatever. So I had a lot of Mollies and a lot of Stephs and not really a Zed, I guess, but I had a lot of like Mollies and Stephs, unfortunately.
Emily from Melbourne, Australia. What is the most important thing you want people to know before watching the movie?
Just to keep in mind that a book and a movie can be two separate things, but still have the same like passion in them. I think you guys will be surprised how close it is to the book, even if there's things missing for time and things that got taken out just because I wanted them to be taken out. But the essence is there. And Hero and Joe did such an amazing job keeping the essence of them that I just want you to keep in mind that it will probably never be the same for you. But that's fine because I made the book too. So it's okay if you like the book more. But I do believe, honestly, I think you're going to love the movie. And I cannot wait for you guys to see it.
Last question. Deidre from Pennsylvania. How hard was it to pick the actors for the movie so that way you felt they had good chemistry and representation of your written characters?
The casting was a complicated process. Hero was pretty much, when I saw him in person, it was pretty much immediate that we were like, okay, here we go. But it was down to 3 guys, and I had a different person in my head that I had known for a while. So it was like complicated because the moment Hero started talking, I was like, well, there's Hardin, end of story. There was something about him that it would have been crazy to make the movie with anybody else. And then a lot of like Shane, for example, he is so just incredibly talented that he auditioned for other characters. And the first time he was auditioning for Zed, which everyone knows this already because I've already said it, so I'm not going to get in spoiler trouble. But I was like, he needs to be Landon. Like, he has to be Landon. And he was great as Zed, but Shane has like he's the most Landon. Like, he's exact.
More Landon than Landon.
Yes, exactly. Literally. Like, it's crazy how he's so Landon. And Landon is such a good person, so I'm glad that we have Shane because he's the best.
Oh, that wasn't the last question. I just don't know how to scroll on this iPad. Brooke
I was like, that was fast. I didn't even sign on the book.
Brooke from Baltimore, Maryland. Do you have a long-term plan for your characters when you begin writing, or do you just write as the story comes to you?
I have zero plan ever. Even if I try to have a plan, I never have a plan. And anytime I do, it became kind of a joke with my editor, where I would send him like the 1-page proposal of my next book, and he's like, yeah, I'm gonna pass this along, but we all know this is nothing gonna, like, you're not gonna turn in this book. It's gonna be a totally different book. So anytime I try to plan something or plot out or have an outline, like I have some author friends who they plot every single chapter, they know everything, and I'm like, how can you, my brain works like I can't decide the future of a character if I don't even know them. So I don't know how they're gonna react to a certain situation, so I can't plan their life. My brain just doesn't work like that. I'm sure that my editors wish that it did, but it doesn't. Sometimes I know big plot points, like after I knew the twist at the end of the first book, and the one at the end of the third, I realized in the second book, and then I was like, wait, sometimes my brain already knows that plot twists are going to happen, but I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. But somehow we get books out of it, so it works. I don't know what it is.
It makes it there. You get
yeah,
a
it makes it
derail.
there, but I have zero plans. So if you're a writer and you don't have like a whole outline and you don't know where the story's going, don't let that stop you because I never know where it's going.
Alexis from Strongsville, Ohio. How close would you say the movie is to all the details in the book?
It's not ever going to be.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, but there are so many things like Tessa's clothes and Hardin's eyes and the books in their room and the quotes from the book. There's a lot more like quotes from the book in the movie than I thought were going to be possible. So I would say I hate saying it's so far because it's not really, but if you're wanting word for word, it's just not possible.
At all.
Ever. Sadly. But yeah, otherwise we'd have like a 9-hour movie. Which I'm not complaining, but Hollywood doesn't do that. So unless we're Harry Potter.
Okay.
And we're not, so.
Let's play a little game. We're going to do 22 questions in 2 minutes.
Okay.
You have a timer?
Okay.
Okay. Where were you born?
Ohio. I don't know why I couldn't think. I was like, where was I born?
Where was I born? Ohio.
So much pressure.
Time. Who would you want to play you in a movie?
Reese Witherspoon, even though she looks nothing like me, but I'm obsessed with her. It's fine.
What was your first job?
My first job was a bowling alley. No, a skating rink. Why am I so nervous? A skating rink.
Rapid.
Well, technically it was a restaurant, but I was working illegally because I wasn't old enough. But it's fine.
It's
so
fine.
Legal job, skating rink.
What is your biggest fear?
Horses.
That is the
I
worst.
know. I literally almost failed a driving test because there was a horse at the end of the street and I ducked. I'm wasting
Ohio.
all these 2 minutes. Yeah, in Ohio.
Who makes you laugh the most?
Probably you.
Oh, it's very sweet.
Right.
What is the one thing you need to have in your fridge at all times? Now's your time to plug Smart Water.
Oh, Smart Water. If you want to sponsor me, it's fine. Just kidding. This is not sponsored. But also, I love Smart Water.
What is your greatest accomplishment?
My son.
So sweet. Who is the most interesting person you met recently?
Most interesting person I've met recently. I would say, holy crap, that's a loaded question. Selma Blair's the first person that comes to mind.
What is your middle name?
Renee. I didn't even think of my middle name. I'm like,
what is your biggest pet peeve?
crap. What is my biggest pet peeve? When people's breath smell like cigarettes and they're in my face. Yeah.
What is the last book you read?
The last book I read.
We gotta hurry.
I know. I'm like, Jesus. I just finished finally the epilogue of Queen of Air and Darkness, but I read the book literally like months ago, but I had to read the epilogue.
One answer.
Oh, God. Okay.
What is your favorite hobby?
Reading.
Okay. What is your guilty pleasure?
Reading?
Okay.
I mean, reading other things.
Do you have any hidden talents?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Boring.
Yeah.
What color is your toothbrush?
White and blue?
I saw it today. That's why.
Okay. I was like,
What is your secret snack?
I feel like I never snack in secret. Everybody knows my snacks. Cheez-Its. We just got a street pretzel. It's delicious.
Mm-hmm. How do you take your coffee?
Strong as hell. Super strong. A little bit almond milk.
What is the last movie you saw in theaters?
After, technically in a movie theater, but before that, A Star is Born.
What was?
Just kidding, Bohemian Rhapsody. Jesus, I'm really bad at this.
What is the last gift you gave?
Last gift I gave? My time with you right now. No, I'm just kidding. Last gift I gave, flowers for a friend's birthday.
Okay. What cause is dear to your heart?
What?
What cause?
Oh, I thought you said what closets dear to. I was like, what? I don't know any closets. What cause? I would say education with young girls around the world, not necessarily in the U.S. too, but there's just so, especially after traveling, I realized as Americans we are very, very spoiled.
I hate to rush you during that, but
I know.
2 minutes.
He doesn't care at all.
What is
It's fine.
number one on your bucket list?
I really want to go to Thailand. I know, we've been
Let's
trying
go.
for years.
Where do you want to go that you've never been?
Thailand, please. Somebody find me some time to go to Thailand.
Well, that's it for the questions.
It definitely was not 2 minutes, right? No, it's fine.
Oh, well, maybe you could have elaborated a little bit more, but I wanted to win.
I'm sure. We for sure lost.
All right, let's do a few more.
Oh, yeah, I need to sign
fan
books.
questions. Caitlin from Tullahoma, Tennessee. What's your favorite thing about being a writer?
Just getting to do what I like to do for a job. Most people, including myself, I never thought I would even remotely like my job. So it's pretty cool. And being able to wear sweatpants all day. For sure.
Kimberly, Hope Hole, Alabama. Ooh, I'm from Alabama. Has your husband read the series?
Not all of it, but he knows every single thing that's ever happened during it. He's read some of The Brightest Stars, though, just because it's like I want some like research and stuff.
Katie from Anderson, Texas. Good question. If you had to go back and change one character throughout the entire series, who would you change and why?
I honestly don't think I would change anyone. I maybe would have... No, I don't think I would change anyone.
Okay.
No.
No.
I'm like, I don't think I would change anyone.
Jessica from Nebraska.
Even the people I don't like.
If you could communicate with your younger self, what advice would you give 10-year-old Anna Todd?
10-year-old? Oh my God, that's a... I'm like, when I was 10, what was I even doing? I would just have...
Tell me about your friends. You're like,
don't worry about these girls because they are like... I just wasted so much time. I was just talking to a reader about this yesterday. Like, I wasted so much time and energy trying to be something I wasn't. I was always so worried about, my friends are skinnier than me. Their face is clearer than mine. And I grew up in a really low income household, so I would have like the knockoff Tommy Hilfiger shirt, and then of course one of my friends would be like, oh, is that fake? And we're like in like 5th grade, so I would just tell myself that, and I would tell myself like, even if I didn't, my life wasn't like after, I still would just be like, you're gonna get out of here. Don't worry.
Hold on.
Because that all I ever, like when I was younger, I just always was like, I have to get out of here. I have to get out of here. I have to get out of here. And I did.
Now we're here.
Yay, now we're here. Well, in New York, but so.
Brandy.
Well, in a publishing house, which is pretty cool.
True.
My 10-year-old self would be like dying over this.
Brandy from Stuart, Florida. What is the movie rated?
Nice try. I can't tell you because I don't know yet, but we should know soon. I think different countries will have different ratings based on their local laws and rules, but we don't know yet, to be honest. But I do know, no, I don't know yet, but we'll know soon, within like 2 weeks probably.
Okay.
That question makes me so nervous.
I was about to say 5 stars.
Yes, the movie's rated 5 stars.
Brittany from Oblong. I know, I keep touching her. I do her hair and makeup, by the way. I'm not just a freak petting her.
He also is a freak petting me, that's fine.
Brittany from Oblong, Illinois. Which character was the hardest to cast for the After movie?
Hardin and Tessa, but Tessa wasn't hard. The moment we saw Josephine, everything was easier. But up until the moment that I saw Josephine, it was really hard to cast Tessa.
Bryn from Newton, New Jersey. What was the biggest struggle you faced while writing the After series on Wattpad?
Just time, because I had a special needs baby and I was going to doctors and hospitals and MRIs and all these things while like writing on my cell phone. So it was mostly time, but the rest of it was...
And was it like the small
yeah. It was it was a Samsung with missing keys.
Yes.
And my laptop. I remember when my editor from Simon Schuster said, just send me the document. And I was like, or the manuscript. And I was like, huh? And he's like, just send me the book. I was like, what do you mean? Don't you have it from Wattpad? He's like, what do you mean? You don't have it? I'm like,
like,
you don't have it?
This was written on an Android.
Yes, like, and then now thinking back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I literally only had the book on Wattpad. Like if Wattpad would have crashed or somebody would have hacked me, I would have been, and I couldn't even afford Microsoft Word, so I didn't even have Microsoft Word either.
What were you on, Notepad?
Literally on Wattpad. I just used the internet. That's it.
Carmen from South Carolina. What has been the most significant change in your life since the series got published? You better say meeting me.
Beside meeting him, just being able to provide a different life for my family. My husband got to get out of the Army. He's medically retired. My son, I don't have to worry about if my insurance is going to cover that MRI. I may still worry about it because it's ridiculous. The United States healthcare system is complete garbage. So it's really hard, especially when I didn't have the financial freedom. So that is the thing. And you going to a grocery store and not worrying about my card getting declined.
Yeah.
it's like that's a huge
relief
because I grew up in that kind of way. A lot of
Yeah.
people, so that's the biggest change.
Amanda from Philadelphia, will there be more book signing dates in the U.S.?
I can't say that for now, but I hope so. But I can't really tell you yet. But stay tuned for more city announcements for events and stuff. But I can't say yet. But I hope so.
Hannah from Mannheim.
Oh, I've been there too.
Not a question, just wanted to say that I owe you, Anna, more than you know. You've got me into reading again. Your books made me confident and created characters to which I can relate to. So, well, it's surreal.
Oh,
Love, Hannah.
Thank you. I love hearing that.
Noura from Portland, Oregon. Who made you keep moving forward? Who was standing by your side all these years?
Myself. No, but really, my husband and myself, because he went back and forth to Iraq and stuff, so I was alone a lot, to be honest. And I was so used to taking care of other people, and it was like time to take care of myself. But my husband has been like, I hate saying a rock because it's like so generic, but he literally, like, I cannot imagine my entire life without him. It would be totally.
Don't get me a tissue.
Right. I'm gonna tell him you're crying too.
Emma Glasgow, United Kingdom. What scene? I don't know. I had like a little.
It's like the easiest.
I don't know. I got nervous. What scene do you think will shock us most in the movie?
Shock you the most? I would say the bet reveal, but I'm not gonna say anything else about it.
Anouk from, okay, you try to pronounce that.
Oh, I can't even see. And I got LASIK surgery and I still can't see. Bayfield. Bayfield?
I don't know. Sorry. Hi, Anna. What is your skincare routine? Haha, greetings from Germany. Well, let me tell you. Long.
It is long. No, I had the worst skin my entire life, and I have a lot of like texture issues with my skin, and I had acne. I still have acne, but yes,
okay.
You just covered it.
2 bumps.
But I've had acne my entire life until recently, to be honest. I stopped what I was doing. The biggest problem, which no matter what brand or whatever you're using, is I was changing the brand like if I didn't see a change in 2 weeks, I'm like, oh, this doesn't work, I need a new one. And that actually was ruining my skin and making me break out way more. I try to use like natural products but sometimes natural stuff doesn't work. Yeah, sometimes natural doesn't work, but as natural as we can get.
Yeah.
But it's long. I'll like post it on Instagram story or something because it's literally like 5 things. But always take your makeup off at night.
Yeah.
Always, even if you're tired, whatever. Even if it's a wipe, just
always just say put makeup wipes in your bedside table so that when you're laying there.
I literally have them in there because of use of that.
Rub it all off.
Yep.
Is that the last question?
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure. I think that is.
If it's not there was one more, but it's all good.
Cool. How much time do we have?
Like 2 minutes. You can run.
Okay. Oh crap. Heroes bringing. Oh wait, we're live.
So we have a few more questions on here. Okay.
I'm just gonna be on my phone for 10 seconds.
What are you reading now?
What am I reading now? Let me show you.
I'm
trying to find some Roswell fan fiction, the remake of Roswell. Somebody can find me some fan fiction. I would love to read it. That's what I want to read. I just finished a book and I need Roswell fan fiction. The remake, not the original. Please send me a link or write it. If you're bored, just write me some fan fiction, please.
What are you working on next?
The Second Brightest Stars, Second After. Yeah, that's.
Just
oh my god, I don't have
stuff.
Just some stuff. Just after stuff.
The movie tie-in edition features a letter from you and an exclusive new chapter. Can you talk about the edition and maybe touch on the audiobook exclusives as well? Can you put that up?
I'm trying. Can you finish the text message? So we'll be back in like 30.
Okay.
Sorry. He's probably just standing at the door. What did you just ask me? The movie tie-in, the audiobook. So it was really cool to have Hero reading the new chapter from Hardin's point of view. I don't think I can say what it is, or I haven't said what it is, so I won't spoil it. But it's a scene that you guys have asked me for years to write from Hardin's point of view from the first book. So it was really fun writing it and then having Hero read it. And then I did a letter for you guys just because I want to thank you. And I wanted to make this like a special edition, not just a new cover. So we had some new content.
All right, well, I think we're done.
Yes,
What a blessing.
We should have a morning show.
I know.
For sure. We'd get canceled,
You
that's
can
fine.
get the signed copies at
Look at you.
premiercollectibles.com/after.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.